Every name tells a story, and place names are no exception. In Africa, these names are more than just points on a map. They're living chronicles of migration, culture, and history. But over the centuries, as people moved and empires rose and fell, these names have often been distorted, adapted, or even erased. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of African toponyms, uncovering the hidden histories they hold, and exploring how migration and cultural encounters have shaped the continent. Imagine a journey that spans thousands of years and thousands of miles, a journey that reshapes the very language of a continent. This was the Bantu migration, one of the most significant human movements in history. As these groups spread across Sub-Saharan Africa, they carried with them their words, their stories, and their names. Take the word Inza, for example, a Proto-Bantu term for river. As the Bantu people settled in new lands, this word evolved, becoming Enzo in Kikuyu and Inzi in Runyankore. Each twist in pronunciation, each subtle change, reflects the dynamic journey of the Bantu people across Africa, leaving a linguistic trail that we can still follow today. Now let's sail to the East African coast, where centuries of trade and cultural exchange gave birth to a unique language, Swahili. A blend of Bantu roots and Arabic influences, Swahili became the lingua franca of the coast, and its place names tell a story of a region where worlds collided. Mombasa, for instance, known in Swahili as Mji wa Mvita, literally means the town of war. It's a name that echoes the fierce battles and strategic importance of this coastal city. And then there's Zanzibar, derived from the Arabic Zanzibar, meaning land of the blacks. These names are not just labels, they're windows into the past, showing us how the Swahili language absorbed and transformed the names of the places it touched. But not all changes were organic. The arrival of European colonizers in the 19th century brought a wave of renaming that often ignored or erased the rich histories embedded in African place names. Colonial powers imposed their own names, reflecting their languages, their rulers, and their disregard for the local context. Take Kinshasa, for instance, once known as Leopoldville, named after King Leopold II of Belgium. This name wasn't just a label, it was a symbol of power, a tool of control. But beneath it lay a history, a culture, and a name that had existed long before the colonizers arrived. The colonial legacy is a reminder of how names can be used to rewrite history, often at the expense of the people who originally gave these places their names. But Africa isn't alone in this. Across the globe, place names have been reshaped by migration, conquest, and cultural blending. Consider Greenland, named Grenland by Norse settlers in a bid to attract others to its shores. Or the Hawaiian Islands, where Polynesian voyagers gave names that evolved over centuries, adapting to the Hawaiian language and changing with the times. These names, like Maui, Kauai, and Oahu, tell stories of discovery, adaptation, and survival. They show us that the power of a name is universal, and its journey from past to present is often as complex as the history it represents. In Australia, the story of place names is one of resilience. Before European colonization, Aboriginal groups had their own intricate naming systems, deeply tied to the land, its features, and their ancestral stories. But colonization brought erasure, as English names were imposed and Indigenous languages were pushed to the margins. Today, there's a growing movement to reclaim and revive these original names, to recognize the deep connections that existed long before European settlers arrived. These efforts remind us that place names are not just words, they're symbols of identity, history, and a people's connection to their land. Unraveling the history behind place names is like solving a complex puzzle. Historians, linguists, and anthropologists work together to piece together the stories hidden in these names. They analyze ancient texts, compare linguistic patterns, and consult oral traditions passed down through generations. But perhaps the most crucial element of this research is the people themselves, the local communities who have lived with these names for centuries. Their knowledge, often overlooked, is key to understanding the true meanings and histories behind the names we see on the map today. Migration, trade, conquest, these forces have all left their mark on Africa's place names, shaping them, distorting them, and giving them new life. Each name is a story, a thread in the vast tapestry of history that connects us to the past. As we explore these names, we're reminded that they're more than just labels. They're living legacies, constantly evolving as languages and cultures interact. So the next time you see a name on a map, remember, there's a story behind it, waiting to be discovered.